7070 Collins. We in Miami and we ballin'. She let dollar pull up as we mobbin'. Every time I'm in the city, we be locked in. Ay.
Supermarket shoppers understand that convenience matters. At Hortsport's Value Mart IGA, we know that price matters most. Ample parking and the widest variety matter. At Hortsport's Value Mart IGA, we know that price matters most. Clean, spacious aisles and the highest level of customer service all matter. At Hortsport's Value Mart IGA, price matters most. We've renewed our commitment to guarantee the lowest prices in the Federation. Why? Because we understand that in this tough economic environment, price matters most. Shop smart. Shop Value Mart, where price matters most. Farms Estate Nevis and Wellington Road, St. Kitts.
Price matters most.
You ever hear Earthquake call and say, "Hello, Miss Lee, yes, it's me, Earthquake, I come in Tuesday around 10? No, sir. Earthquake does arrive unannounced, and when it come, it shake all sense and sensibility out of we. Remain calm, stay inside, and do the DCH. Drop, cover, hold on. Once the shaking starts, you know it's earthquake. Make a quick move to a safe place. Don't run to the door, we are in the exit. Stairs might block up or full of people. Elevator, avoid that, because you might get in and poof, power gone, and you're stuck in that box without ear. Take cover under a strong table or a bed, or crouch against an inside wall or in a corner, and cover your face and your head with your arms. Remember, DCH, drop, cover, hold on. Glass windows and doors, outside walls and doors, in an earthquake, bad news. Take care yourself. Most injuries during earthquakes happen when something drop and hit people entering or exiting a building. Last thing, nobody run outside and ask, you feel it, you feel it? Remain calm, stay indoors until all the shaking stop, and do the DCH, drop, cover, hold on.
This message is sponsored by the Australian Government, AusAid, and produced by NEMA in collaboration with WinFM.
Boys, so glad you made it to Dad's birthday dinner.
Thanks, Mom. This gift is from me.
And me too?
No way.
Fine.
Hi, boys. Who's messaging? Oh, it's a deposit from CIBC Caribbean First Pay from Ricardo. Son, you're so thoughtful.
He sure is.
For quick transfer with just an email, mobile number, or QR code, use First Pay from CIBC Caribbean. Visit CIBCCaribbean.com/ways to bank for more information.
Tune in to Creative Voices, the ultimate radio call-in program where innovation meets inspiration. Join me, Dr. Sarah Owen, as I welcome brilliant Caribbean creatives and innovators for engaging sessions that promise to spark your creativity. Don't miss this unique opportunity to interact with our guests, ask your burning questions, and gain insights that could elevate your own creative endeavors. Tune in every other Friday from 10 a.m. to midday. Get inspired. Let your voice be heard. Mark your calendars and prepare to embark on a journey of creativity and innovation with Creative Voices.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea only on Win Media 98.9.
Unlock the secrets to a healthier you. Join Dr. Natalie Osborne every Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. on WinFM 98.9 for Weekly Dose. During this 30-minute health discussion, we aim to educate and empower our listeners on the prevention of diseases, early diagnosis, and timely intervention. Don't miss out on this informative health talk where we teach you to live your best life. Weekly Dose, Tuesdays on WinFM 98.9.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea only on Win Media 98.9.
And a pleasant good day to you and yours. The time is approximately 9 minutes after the 8 o'clock hour. And I'm here with you, all solitaire. Well, let me not say that because I remember quite well that Sylvine called in and reminded me that, hey, you're never alone. We are out here listening to you. But Hortensia will not be in today as she is otherwise occupied. I'm going to be keeping you company today along with a few guests smattered here and there. I am trying to get my system to reboot. I'm going to see if I can shut it down and get it rebooted. In the meantime, let me start by speaking of the more recent happenings in our proximity, and that is to do with tariffs and how they will affect us in the Caribbean region and how they will spread and affect the world. I was listening to a conversation recently, and individuals were discussing the pros and cons, and it seemed as if though on the panel there was one neutral individual, there was one who was pro the United States of America, and another who was pro, well, the world, you could say. And the discussion was rather interesting because the one who was pro the United States of America seemed to be trying in every way that he could to defend the actions of the United States of America and Donald Trump, whereas the other individual who seemed to be more pro the world and concerned about the trend, the negative trend that the world seems to be taking and the repercussions of these tariffs, did his best to show that things were not all as the pro-United States America individual wanted to point out. What I gathered from it all, my summation is that I feel, or maybe rather I hope, that the world, because the individual who was pro-United States America, he kept saying that Europe was going to inevitably rejoin the United States of America. There would be no fragmentation as far as the United States of America and the European countries were concerned. There would be no fragmentation. They would eventually reunite. I do not disagree with such an argument. I feel that they very well might. But what I surmise is that even if they reintegrate into or they reunite with the United States of America, they're going to be doing their own individual things and their own collective things as the EU, the European economies, to make sure that they do not find themselves in the situation that they presently are in, because as was pointed out and everyone agreed, no one expected events to play out the way they played out. No one expected, well, they knew that tariffs were going to come, but they did not think that tariffs would come in the way that they have, sort of willy-nilly thrown in here and there without proper projections and plans. And so the world got caught off guard, and I don't think the rest of the world wants to be in that position going forward. So I think that even if the EU, the European nations, reunite with the United States of America, they're going to do things to make sure they buttress themselves in the event that any other president comes along and tries to pull the kind of things that the present President of the United States of America is doing. Like I said, I'm trying to reboost my system so that I can get into a few things. So yes, the world, and I would say that the Caribbean countries, they seem to be in the same sort of a situation or position where it seems, I could be wrong, but it seems as if though the Caribbean region will not hesitate to embrace the United States of America and be back in a position where they are, as they perceive themselves, friends of the United States of America, but I also feel that the Caribbean should also spread its tentacles and see if it can make alliances with other nations, to the extent that if this ever happens again, even though it will hit and affect us, it will not be posing the kind of dire situation that seems to be projecting itself. Hello, caller. Good day.
Good day to you, to Quint.
Yes.
Good day to you. Greetings once more in Jesus' name, the only Savior of His elect sinners from their sins and from hell, and the second person of the eternal Trinity. Now, first of all, I would like to speak about the tariff issue. But before I do that, let me say this. Yesterday, on the show, when the gentleman told me about me running and that sort of stuff for election, I think I handled that situation wrongly. Yes, I'm totally unelectable, no doubt about that. But what I should have said really is that, Jesus Christ is in control of everything. And as the Bible said, He puts up and He pulls down, He exalts and He humbles. And so whatever Jesus Christ will is for me, that He will do. Nothing is impossible for Him to do. Nothing is impossible for Him to do. Nothing is hard for Him to do. Everything is most easy for Him to do. So if He wants to make me to be whatever, no matter how unelectable I be, no matter how rejected I am, mocked or scorned or whatever I am, or anyone else, Jesus Christ can do any and everything, because nothing is impossible for Him to do. I think that is what I should have said.
Well,
because
I don't see that as a problem. We can't always come up with the adequate answers to questions every time. Hindsight is 20/20 vision, so don't be too hard on yourself.
Yeah, no. I should have given Jesus the glory instead of talking in a doubtful manner.
Okay.
Should have given Jesus Christ the glory, because He's the one who puts up and He's the one who brings down according to the Bible. And He can do that for anyone He chooses to, no matter who they are. Now, saying that, let me. You speak about the tariff issue.
Yes. And before you go on, I spoke about it, but what I feel might happen. I want your view on it. I feel that as the panelists were saying last evening, one of the panelists was saying that he feels that it is inevitable that the European nations go back and join with the U.S. I don't see that as a problem, but I want to know what you feel about my premise that even if the EU rejoins the United States of America, it will not be business as usual. They will be trying to find ways to safeguard themselves against the shocks that they are now experiencing.
Well, I'm going to be quite honest with you. Europe really, let me put it this way. I want to put it in strong language, but I cannot. It'd be too strong for Win FM. So let me use euphemisms, soft languages. Europe is America's
descent. What do you say? Like Americans are descendants of Europe.
No. That really want to say.
Okay.
Yeah, because we all know that.
Okay.
But Europe is America's servant.
Yes.
I want to put it in much stronger languages, but I can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So the softest way I could put it is Europe is America's servant. Okay.
Yes.
They would bow and bend to America any day. For example, America blew up the Nord Stream pipeline, which had very negative effects on Germany's economy. Because Russia was about to supply, if they had not already started to supply oil to Germany. Well, America blew it up. And instead of Germany, and they knew, Germany and the other European countries, they knew it was America. And instead they came out and condemned America. It's like they fell on their own sword and pretend that they didn't know it was America and did not condemn America for it, for blowing up the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. And that was one of the worst environmental disaster ever, if not the worst environmental disaster ever. And as a matter of fact, the amount of CO2 that was put in the air, it is said to have contributed to increased hotness of the earth.
Atmosphere. Yeah.
The atmosphere. And not only that, but and other things as well. Instead of Europe condemn America, which they should have, they just turn a blind eye about to America because they are more America's servant. So whatever going on today between them, whatever negative stuff going on today between them, in the end, Europe will always be bowing to America. And in the end, when America tell them to jump, they're going to always ask how high. And I think the same thing with the Caribbean too.
But having said that, which I do not entirely disagree with, because like I said, I see them rejoining the United States. But having said that, even a servant to his or her master, if the master continues to treat them a certain way, even that servant will try to make provisions to avoid some of the things that happened in the past. So don't you think that, yes, I agree that they are like puppets to the United States, but don't you think it is wise, it would be wise for them that even though they acquiesce and they go back to the union with the United States of America, that they should do things that would put up some safeguards for them in the future? Don't you feel that would be wise?
That would be wise. As a matter of fact, it would be wise that they start being puppets to anyone, including the United States.
Yes,
that would also be wise. But
you just don't see them.
Europe being America's puppet. I don't know, because some servants, you know, some servants, the more ill you treat them, it probably seems that they become more loyal and more loving to you, you know.
That is true. That is true.
So I don't know if they will be putting up any safeguards or anything like that. The time will tell, but at the moment, I really don't have any confidence in Europe in really standing up to America. I really don't have that confidence, you know.
Okay.
I don't have the confidence. But come back to the tariff. Like I have said, when you increase tariff, even before I said that, because something I have not addressed and I wanted to address it concerning the same tariff, and we in the Caribbean. Like even yesterday, the Prime Minister was on Freedom Radio.
Yes.
And I'm not too sure if he was on that program or maybe sometime earlier in the day, I heard him say on another program where there be news or whatever. Might be both, who knows?
Yes.
But I know I've heard him say it yesterday, and I heard him say it before. That
go ahead.
That because of the tariffs, things might be becoming more expensive here. Because, you know, United States put up tariffs, or countries might. So we importing things might be more expensive.
Yes.
That might be true. Might be. I'm not discounting that 100%. Might be. But there's also another possibility that maybe we might get things cheaper too.
Explain that.
Yeah, I'm going to explain that. Because, for example, the United States ain't really the producer it was once ago now.
That is true.
China is the producer now. And other countries, China, Mexico, and so on, are the producers now. A lot of American companies have gone to Mexico, China, and other places. So America ain't really the powerhouse manufacturer and producer as it used to be. That has not been to other countries. And because of that, America put on the tariffs and these countries, right? What they're going to do now, well, what is going to happen is that people who import stuff into America from these countries will be importing less. And maybe where China is concerned, a whole lot less because the tariffs are high. So what China might do now, since they might not be exporting things as much as they used to before the tariff, what China might do now is concentrate now on China and Mexico and that sort of. What they might do now is that they might concentrate more now on other worldwide markets. So we know might be like Brazil is posed to do. We know as well might be importing more things directly from China.
Okay. The key word here is directly.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because that would make the difference. Go ahead.
So that now could possibly, and in a very real sense, instead of things becoming more expensive for us, they might come cheaper.
Well, that is
as we import more directly from China and maybe Mexico and so on.
That is a plausible scenario.
Yes. So it can go both ways. It can go both ways because these countries would now be more sought in other markets on the world scene.
Yes.
And for their produce. So yeah, that could be sometimes there are blessings in disguises, you know, and we don't realize it.
Yes.
What we think might be a negative dark cloud could be a silver lining.
Well, let's see how it plays out.
That's what we have to see.
Yes, what you put forward it could happen. It could happen, and as a matter of fact, I think that when I was speaking before to the Europe making provisions that would sort of be a safeguard against shocks in the future, I think that direct routes of shipping would also have to be in the future the way to go. So I agree with what you put forward.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, because right now I think Brazil and China have some kind of agreement where now, because of the tariffs and the sort of, China will be more now exporting to Brazil more than it has in the past.
Greg, let me see here. Sorry. There was another caller. I was asking you not to hang up, but go ahead, and if there's another caller, I would engage them and let you know, okay?
No, okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. No. Also, so that is one issue that I never really addressed before. But another issue that I've addressed before concerning the tariffs is that the more you increase taxes in your country, including tariffs, is the more expensive in your country. So
okay, Greg. Don't hang up. Let me hear from another caller. Hello.
Good morning, Quinn.
Yes, good day.
Good morning.
With regards the having other links, though.
Yes.
I don't know if you recall that some time ago, since in the previous two administrations, actually, we had some kind of agreement with Brazil. They even had an embassy here at one time.
Yes, I remember.
Or consulate or something.
Yes.
But it seemed to take forever to establish those links. And in the end, it doesn't seem as if anything came of it. So it's not that easy to forge economic links with other countries. Maybe it's a language barrier. Maybe because the United States speak English as well. It's very easy to do business there. Or maybe historically we've had investments from the U.S. And so there are those links.
Yes.
Okay, but for whatever reason, it's difficult to just throw the old links and establish new ones.
I agree.
Okay, maybe now though that the United States is seemingly hostile to
even its allies.
Yes, even its allies. that may provide the impetus for us to take those new links
Yes.
seriously.
Yeah.
Right? And I also agree that the same applies to the EU European countries.
Yes.
Right? I think they were quite content with having the U.S. lead the West. They had all this economic and military power.
Yes.
They had all these thousands and thousands of soldiers stationed in European countries. So they were quite content in letting America take the lead, right? And yes, in response to that, they pretty much had to toe the line.
Yeah.
So whereas you find Europeans might not like what's happening in terms of U.S. Middle East policy, for instance.
Yeah.
They would be very subdued in criticizing it.
Yes.
Okay. But I think now that itself, I think they're getting a kind of rude awakening. They and Canada as well. That listen, first of all, we can't rely on the vagaries of United States politics.
Yes.
Right? And they do have resources within themselves to take care of themselves.
So let me ask you this then.
It's Quint.
Wait.
McMahon is a bit low. He's a bit low. Could you speak up some more?
Okay, McMahon, could you speak a little louder?
Okay, sure.
So let me ask you this. Having said what you've said, do you agree with Greg that even though they have seen what is playing out right now, they will continue to be the very same puppets they are? Or do you feel, like myself, that yes, they will reunite, but they will do things that would be wise in terms of guarding themselves against future shocks?
Well, yeah, I think it's a case of once bitten, twice shy.
Yes.
But they do have a natural inclination to the United States.
Yes.
Right? I mean, even look at Australia. I think China was suggesting that.
Yes. Recently.
Australia cooperated them to fight against these tariffs and so on. And even though Australia is much more, it's closer to China and closer to the Asian region, they themselves express a kind of a
skepticism,
to do that.
Yes.
And I think again it's because of the natural bonds between Australia. They regard as really as part of the West.
Yes.
Even though they're in the East.
Yes.
And so the Europeans may be going through a similar situation, but when you look at it, they are looking, I think, at a different U.S. And it's easy to say that, well, it's just one man, it's just Trump, and he'll be out of there in 4 years and things will be back to normal, etc., etc.
Yes.
But that's not entirely true, because it's one man doing this thing now, but he's not facing any resistance, not from his own party, not from the Democrats who are the opposition,
yes,
and certainly not from the general populace as a whole. And so it has to be something fundamental shifting in U.S. politics. And we can't just say it's the leadership or the government.
Yes.
Right? Whether it's big money behind them, whether it's the billionaires and the new oligarchy, or the call them what you wish. The fact is there is a shift which is not, well, it's manifested in Trump's policies, but I think it's deeper than that.
Okay.
So the Europeans will have to respond to that
Yes.
It can't be business as usual.
And I agree. So, Greg, I want you to come back in. But before you do, let me, because of what Mr. McMahon has just outlined, Mr. McMahon and Greg both, you
Yes,
say
I'm
you say, Mr. McMahon, that you feel there's something underlying and it might be a trend moving forward. You feel that the masses of the United States is not making the kind of adamant resistance that they should. I am not too sure. So I'm going to ask you this. With all the protests and whatever is happening, and remember again that the Democrats are in a very weak position, but with all of the protests that is happening in the United States of America, don't you feel that there is a resistance, but because of the trend of democracy where he has been elected and it has to play out until they go back to the polls or whatever, there's nothing that can be done until that happens. What do you think about that?
You hold on, speak
let Greg speak first.
Okay. No, a lot of people misunderstand MAGA. A lot of people misunderstand MAGA. There is a lot of protest right now, even in MAGA, against Trump tariffs. As a matter of fact, in addition to the markets, in addition to the fall of the stock markets and that sort of stuff, you know, when he put on the tariffs. In addition to that, you also have a lot of protests in MAGA.
Yes.
Against Trump. Even Ben Shapiro, who is a staunch Israeli advocate of Trump, even he come out and criticize Trump tariffs. So that has those two things, the market's failure and the protest in MAGA as well, even in the White House, because I was listening to a program, Tom Wood's program, and he said even in the White House with Scott Effervescence or something like that his name is.
Yes.
He's opposing the types as well with Trump. You have a divide even in his White House.
Yes.
So because of that, Trump recently now said, oh, you know what? I'm gonna put a temporary halt on them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it because it's pressure that made him did that. Pressure even from his very own, plus his stock market failure.
Yeah.
So there are protests even in Trump MAGA group and even in his White House that have caused him to say, you know, but I don't believe they're temporary. I believe, well, I could be wrong, but I believe that they're going to be permanent.
I want to believe so too, but with Trump, we're never sure. Mr. McMahon, make your input.
Yeah, I'm saying that the tariffs are just one manifestation of what's happening in America, that it goes well beyond that. Okay? When you look, for instance, at what Trump is doing on immigration, what he's doing on going after the justice system, basically trying to railroad the justice system. When you look at what he's doing to the universities, you know, no one would have thought that something like this, which is obviously a vindictive and dictatorial move,
and also, in my opinion, rather childish for a lead of such magnitude. Go ahead.
And dangerous,
yes.
bearing in mind the kinds of innovations that come out of universities.
Yes.
In America. When you look at those kinds of things, he's going to the core of what brought America to where it is now. And to undermine all of that, you know, in such a short space of time, has to be worrying. It's fundamentally changing America in a way that it can't be changed back.
Yes, but
and I'm saying that the protests so far has been muted. You know, when he went after the big law firms, for instance, you'd have think that they would have challenged it.
Yes.
You know, instead they basically caved to his way of thinking. When you have that kind of power that nobody seems to want to challenge, I mean, that's essentially the definition of a dictatorship.
Yes.
Okay? You may call it whatever you wish. But it's hard to see. It's hard to see unless there's a big swing in the next 2 years, the midterm elections.
Yes.
It's hard to see America changing course in a fundamental way because Trump's ideas of, man, we defending you, pay for it. America first. We want to get back to how America was, which is impossible, right? Those kinds of things seem to be taking root, not just in the Trump circles, but throughout America. Right? And that is what
I hear what you're saying, but I can't say yay or nay on either side because you can't. I for one can't read the minds of the the Caucasian American populace. But what you say have some merit. But here is where, and Greg seemed to be on the same vein, is that you're getting protests from even within his own faction, right? And furthermore, the courts, he's getting lashback from the courts. Yes, it is true that not much is being done but Mr. McMahon, what else can they do? What else in a democracy, what can you do but protest, unless you're going to take the protestation up to a violent level, which no one wants? Don't you? I feel, and I think that by Greg's words, and I will let him come in after I finish, that we are saying when it comes to when people go back to the polls, I mean, we could be dead wrong, but I feel that when people go back to the polls, it's not going to be good for Trump. Greg?
Oh, okay. Well, they're going to be, they're going to be midterm election for both houses,
yes,
the Senate and the Congress. Now, with all due, okay, first, when Trump was campaigning, he said that in no time, if he won, in no time, I mean, after he's inaugurated and that sort of stuff, in no time, inflation is going to go down.
Yes.
Well, instead of inflation and that sort of stuff going down, it's going up.
Yes.
So, because of Trump policies, I mean, it was going up during Biden as well. And Trump come in, and instead it decreased as Trump promised, it still continued to increase. Not only that, I think with, even if he doesn't put back on this tariff thing and that sort of stuff, I think it has left a bad taste in people's mouths. And because of that, and maybe the immigration thing, how the immigration thing is handled, and other stuffs as well, I think the midterms election, the Democrats stand a good chance to gain, if not win.
Yes.
But the Democrats don't say it's in a mess as well.
Yeah, well, that is what I was going to say. Mr. McMahon, I'm going to let you come back in. But as to what Greg says, I agree. I believe that the Democrats are going to get back in. But to what you said, Mr. McMahon, I'm not going to dispel that because there is some truth and merit to your statement. So what I will say is, if and when, as we proceed, perceive the Democrats win back a position where they do have some strength and some weight, we will then have to see, Mr. McMahon, if what you're saying plays out, where we see a trend along that vein, or we see things being implemented, policies and so forth, so that this trend does not continue. Mr. McMahon.
Yeah, but you have to remember that, well, at least so far, Trump is not eligible for re-election.
Yes.
And so he does not have to worry about things like polls or what the results of an election
will
going to be.
Yes.
Right. And remember, so far, a lot of what he has done is through executive action.
Yes, yes.
And he can still take, even if the Democrats win, right, in 2 years,
yes,
in the midterms, he can still take executive action and do a lot of damage.
Yes.
Okay.
I agree.
Yes, they can be reversed, but
Yes.
in the meantime, he can go on just as he's going on now and saying, "Listen, this is just part of the pain. At the end of the 4 years, you will see that America is in a better position." And by the way, when it comes to prices, if there is a recession, not an economist, but I think if there's a recession, prices are going to go down.
Yes.
Okay. What's gonna be affected a lot is probably jobs.
Yes.
And as soon as it start taking over people's livelihoods, that is when they probably sit up. So it would not surprise me if there's a recession and it continues for any length of time and it goes into the midterm elections, that the Republicans will have a tough time
Yes.
with the electorate.
Okay.
Okay? But as it is right now, okay, the executive actions that are being taken, those are fundamentally changing America and Americans, and I maintain that resistance to them
is rather mild.
Is muted.
Yes.
Yeah, is rather mild.
Yes.
When you said what they can do, you know, if people would have been inundating their elected officials, even if they can't have access to Trump, they do have access to their
representatives,
congressmen and the senators and so on, the reps.
Yes.
Okay? And you cannot tell me that a representative, if you see a severe backlash, is just going to sit down and take it.
Well, I agree.
I very much doubt that.
I agree with you on that. In that vein, I agree with you that the electorate need to put more weight on their representative, because when it comes to the poll now, even though Trump is at his end, they will be looking forward to a future. So I agree with you on that.
Yeah, exactly. You know, they're not gonna go down on a ship with Trump they're gonna try to save themselves.
Most definitely.
Okay, there's one other thing that I don't understand, though, to be quite honest, and I don't know if you all do. There's something about the American political system that seem to allow for obvious misguided policies to go through.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, for instance, on let's say the Middle East policy.
Yeah.
Okay, where it is clear that Israel is, engaging in at the very least, the decimation of the Palestinians.
Yes.
Okay, that's a one-sided. They call it a war, but that is
it's definitely not a war. It's not a war.
It's one-sided.
Yes.
Okay, and normally you'd expect the U.S. to be even-handed, but when it comes to Israel, it is not.
Yes.
And I'm not sure. Some say it's Jewish money, but it's a strange phenomenon I find that even whereas the rest of the world is hostile to that policy, it's pursued still as if that's the holy grail, so to speak.
Yes. I agree with you.
Because even in Europe, when it started, when they had mass demonstrations and so on against it. When, for instance, even when they had the war with Iraq, when a lot of the European populace was against it. To Greg's point, the European leaders themselves followed America into it.
Yes.
Okay? And I'm not sure I understand how come it's so obvious that the U.S. government is prepared to even defund its own universities when all they were doing was expressing sympathy with the Palestinians.
Yes, yes.
And which was a natural thing to do, just from a humanitarian point of view.
Well,
Okay?
that also puzzles me, but from what I don't know if it is the salient reason or point, but it seems to me, apart from Jewish money, it seems to me that it still comes down to Jewish money. When it comes to lobbying, it seems to me that the Jewish contingent is very, very, very vast and very aggressive. The very same ways in which Trump imposed himself upon the Republican Party, threatened individuals, and if you said anything against him, he made sure you were not reelected. It seems to me that the Jewish contingent has that same kind of modus operandi. And again, when it comes down to individuals who are looking forward to being reelected, it seems that is why it works. But it has always also puzzled me in relation to how or why is it you seem to follow this vein and lack a moral standing.
Right.
Right? Before
that's the thing.
yeah. So Greg,
Yes.
I'm going to let Greg do a wrap up, and then I'm going to let you do a wrap up, and then I'm going to take a commercial break. So Greg, what do you have to say presently?
Well, yes, what I have to say is that I'm going to go back on something that Matt Mahan said. Matt Mahan said that he thinks there's going to be a depression where, I guess, unemployment increase and prices go down. But what I'm saying is that is not going to be. What is going to be, and I will strongly defend it, and I believe so. Of course, I'm not a prophet, and I'm not a son of a prophet.
Yes.
So I'm just giving you how I see things from my gut feeling.
Yes.
Now, America right now, unofficially, is going through what is called not a depression, but they're on the cusp of a stagflation.
Yes.
And that is going to get worse. And within a stagflation, you have both depression and increase in prices, increase in interest rates, and that sort of stuff. That is what America is going to be experiencing more and more as time goes on during Trump time. Like I said, I'm not a prophet, not a prophet, but this is what I'm betting on.
Yes.
And not just me, but others have said it as well. And that's also, I think, going to negatively affect the Republicans in the midterm election as the economy gets worse and worse. America is going to have terrible stagflation where even banks, I think, are going to even fail because of increasing interest rates, unemployment, that sort of stuff. Now, concerning Trump, and another reason why I think why Trump is going to going to be a negative factor in the midterm election because of his belligerent language, threatening countries, to take over countries, that sort of stuff. People doesn't like these things. People don't like these kind of belligerent talk. So I think all that's going to work against the Republicans because of Trump in the mid-elections.
Okay.
But above all else, I would like to say God is in control of everything, and Jesus Christ, let's put our trust in him. He will never fail those who put their trust in him. He will never disappoint those who put their trust in him.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Quint.
Yeah. Mr. McMahon?
God bless.
I don't know for sure that there'll be a recession. I mean, there's talk of it, okay? Stagflation, is, in my opinion, just as bad, since what it really does, it means that the lot of the American people really doesn't change much. They still go through the tough times, etc., etc.
Yeah.
They may still have a job, but the wages don't increase and that sort of thing. Okay? And that in itself may help the Democrats
Yeah.
because Trump promised better, right?
Yes.
But the thing is, and that is where the uncertainty comes in. Suppose Trump is right and then the American economy booms. You know, what impact do you think that would have on the states and the rest of the world? Because contrary to what Greg says, I don't think the average American care two hoots about the belligerence of Trump when it comes to other nations.
Well, no,
They
not,
don't.
not
As a matter of
no,
fact, they probably like it.
Yeah,
It's
not
tough
the,
talk.
that is why he said specifically, not the American people. It's the people. It's the people and the countries to which he is being belligerent.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Right. Those are the ones. No, but he did say that they don't like that kind of talk, and it would impact the midterm elections.
Oh,
And I'm
yes,
saying
yes, I catch
that
you.
They're unlikely.
Yes.
They don't really look at foreign policy, and they always look at it in
From
terms
their
of
perspective.
American dominance.
Yes, yes, I agree.
Right? So that would not be an issue for them. Okay, would be an issue for them is their jobs, their livelihoods, the 401ks, the fact that Social Security and the Social Security benefits are still alive and well. Those kinds of things, those are the things that would make a difference. And so Trump is gambling that what he is doing is hopefully by then would make a difference to those things in a positive way for the Republicans.
Yes.
Right now, it doesn't seem that way. But who knows what will happen at the rate we're going, with things changing so fast. Who knows what would be the position of the United States in the world, its relations with other countries. All these things contribute to a general uncertainty.
But I don't...
Because that was the thing, remember America used to be regarded as a symbol of stability. It's not that anymore. It's just shaking things up.
It has not been for a long time, but, it took...
A symbol of stability?
Yes, it has not been for a long...
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. They were pretty much predictable how they would have responded to, like Ukraine, for instance. They were considered a responsible partner in like the G7, the IMF, the WTO, the World Bank, but not anymore.
The reason I make that statement is because America, from the past, projected an image. When America internally saw that image sort of changing and waning, she started to impose sort of a military strength and threats, sort of not blatantly but subtly. So that kept America in a position. And one of the things
you're talking about pre-Trump? You're talking before Trump?
Yeah. And one of the things, for instance, the fact that America keeps reprinting money and printing money and printing money, what does that say in regards to the economy? It is because of what you've stated, and there's truth in it. Because in the past America had a reputation for being stable and so forth, that kept them that word confidence in the American economy, that kept them going along even when it was not really the reality.
That's true, and remember too, and China doesn't hesitate to remind them of this.
Yes.
They have been living above their means.
Yes.
That's what the deficit is about.
Yes.
You're spending more than you're bringing in, okay? And they were able to do that because of the dominance of the dollar and the fact that they can print money, and people would still buy their bonds.
Yes.
Okay, but China reminds them that I think they're the biggest holder of
American
US
bonds. Yeah, they are.
Right, and so they can also help to sink the American economy.
Yes.
If right.
And
Okay.
that is why economists and a lot of people who are au fait with how economies should go and projections and so forth make the statement that these tariffs were not thought out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you look at the stock market, though, you realize the stock market seemed to be
occasionally
yes,
rebounding.
it was up and down.
Yes.
But it seemed to be stabilizing a bit in positive territory. And so I guess that's one of the few indicators that things may be getting better, right? Because it's like voters voting with their feet. People vote with their money too, okay? And if things not going well there, they're going to pull out their money.
But there's
dash for the door.
But there's also another aspect to it. If you're a big business, you would have what they call reserve. And when you see shocks, when you see the arrows pointing toward shocks, what you're going to do, you're going to use your reserve to buttress for a certain period within that shock era so that it doesn't cause you to crash. But you can only buttress so long. So the longer these tariffs continue, then that is what is going to show out in the long run. But we know that big corporations are not going to just stay there. For instance, if a bank perceives that there's going to be a run on the bank, what the bank does is try to make sure it has enough money to last a given period so that when the run does start, people see that, okay, a day has passed, 2 days, and things see. You understand what I'm saying?
And right, and the bleeding stops. Hopefully
yes.
The bleeding
yes.
stops, and people
yes.
don't panic.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. But the thing is, they can only sustain losses, so much losses.
For
After
so
a
long.
while, the bottom.
Yes.
The bottom does fall out.
Yes.
And then, unfortunately, who they run to? The government for bailout, right? And the whole cycle repeats itself.
Yes.
More deficits, etc.,
yeah.
etc.
More printing
So
money.
I don't know. A lot of uncertainty. Very few people can make any predictions now.
Yes.
Okay, for next year,
mm-hmm.
right? And then that in itself is a bad thing. Even if they decide to just wait, because if you just wait and don't invest, that contributes to the stagflation that
yes.
Greg spoke about. There's no growth,
yes.
and so on, right? So it's like us here. To me, that's what we're doing too.
Yeah.
Just waiting to see what's happening.
Yes.
And hoping that in the final outcome, we at least our head is above the water.
Yes.
That's unfortunately where we're at.
Okay.
No economist with whatever kind of training can predict how it's going to be in the next 2 years. Because remember too, when you think about it, isn't it the ultimate to have zero tariffs between countries?
Yes.
That trading is free and so on. So it isn't that tariffs Trump's idea. What Trump is trying to do, it seems like, is to get to zero tariffs by increasing tariffs at first, and then dealing with other countries to essentially drop theirs, and with the intention of going to zero. Okay, but that's kind of utopian.
Yeah, in a fantasy
zero,
world. Yeah.
Right, zero tariffs. And in the meantime, we have all these shocks.
I feel, I'm going to take a commercial break momentarily. I feel that what Trump lost after his first term, Trump in his mind perceived that he would come back in and he would do this thing, and the rest of the world was going to capitulate after a given period, run back to the America, and everything was going to be fine and dandy. But it has not played out.
I suspect that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think the timelines and what's happened is what he anticipated.
No.
I don't think he anticipated China's reaction.
No.
Or even the Europeans.
Yes.
Who seem to be, circling the wagon because they realize they're under threat too.
Yes.
Right. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
As the weeks and
months.
Well, even not even weeks, days, days and weeks.
Yes.
And months.
Yes.
Go by.
Okay. Thank you for your input.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
Hop into extra cash this Easter with TDC Financial Services. Need extra cash for your Easter celebrations? Whether it's shopping, home upgrades, a weekend getaway, or a fresh start. With TDC Financial Services Easter loan promotion, you can borrow up to $30,000 at low interest rates with affordable repayment terms. Getting your loan is quick and easy. Just visit any TDC Financial Services branch in St. Kitts on Central Street and in Nevis in the Longstone Building on Main Street in Charlestown. But hurry, this Easter offer is only available for a limited time. TDC Financial Services, where money is made easy.
If you live in low-lying areas, be aware of the possibility of tsunamis immediately after an earthquake. A strong earthquake lasting 20 seconds or more is a natural tsunami warning. Do not wait for an official warning. Gather your family members and evacuate immediately after the shaking stops. Don't delay. A tsunami could occur within minutes.
This message is sponsored by the Australian Government, AusAid, and produced by NEMA in collaboration with Win FM.
Why? I try to grow my business, but every time I check, getting a loan feel like a dead end.
Because you're financially ready. What you need is the Ministry of Small Business and Entrepreneurship's Building Bankable Businesses program.
What?
Building Bankable Businesses. It's a financial literacy boot camp to show you how to manage your business properly and put yourself in a better position for financing.
But you know how the banks stay. Getting through ain't easy at all.
Yeah, but that's why BBB different. So just finish the program and you get VIP treatment to help qualify for National Bank's banking on small business loan. Ain't no guesswork.
Well, that you sound like something I need. Why? Wow.
So when all the details drop, make sure you sign up.
Get ready to grow with the Ministry of Small Business and Entrepreneurship and National Bank. Building bankable businesses. Building bridges to financial solutions.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
It's all fixed.
Thank you for coming on such short notice. The kitchen was almost flooded.
Happy to help. No disrespect, but you're writing a check?
Sorry. This was unexpected, so I don't have cash.
Then first pay me.
Awesome. That I can do. So, this bathroom tap needs a washer, and this one
For quick transfer with just an email, mobile number, or QR code, use First Pay from CIBC Caribbean. Visit CIBCCaribbean.com/ways to bank for more information.
Parents and guardians, it's time to secure your child's success. Enroll them in Aspire and unlock amazing benefits. $500 in cash savings, $500 in investment shares, and life-changing financial education to teach budgeting, saving, and investing. Don't wait. Sign up your child or ward for Aspire today and give them the tools to achieve greatness. Visit aspire.gov.kn for more information.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea only on Win Media 98.9.
And I'm back with you. The time is approximately 10 minutes after the 9 o'clock hour. And rather interesting discussion prior to that bit of a commercial break, analyzing, assessing, and trying to wrap our minds around where we think this predicament that we find ourselves in, and when I say we, I mean the entire world, and how it will play out. Hopefully it comes to an end sooner rather than later, but I'm sure you're well aware that even if it comes to an end sooner, there are some things that have been done up to this point that we will feel the shocks of in the immediate future. But the sooner this comes to an end, then the shorter the time span of us having to experience whatever shocks will play out after these tariffs. Okay? So here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to sort of make a bit of a change and get back into one of the things that I tend to do occasionally, and that's play some clips that relate to one of them, revisiting what happened in the past as far as Haiti is concerned, and the other from a biblical perspective. But before I do that, let me go back to the phone lines. Hello, good day.
Yeah, President, good morning, Brother Quinn.
Yeah, good day, Raskalonji.
Yeah, greetings, Raskalonji. Yes, I just get the last part of the discussion, you know, with the brothers that you had on.
Yes.
And, you know, it's very interesting. And what I'm saying to you is that our leadership, I'm talking about solutions now, you know, to the situation. Because I think their analysis was on point.
Yes.
But what I'm saying to you now, what our people need to do, what is most important, because if inflation is $5 or 5% in the United States, it's 20% in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Throughout the Western world, throughout the globe. So what I'm saying to you is that we as African people, we need to unite as one solid body, and this is the time now to do it.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad that you brought that up, because that is a part that we did not touch in our prior discussion. But as I've always said, and I'm sure you concur along that mode of thinking, that no matter what we as a Caribbean archipelago of islands do, and no matter how we perceive ourselves as advancing for better, we will never really be accepted and respected in the globe, in the overall picture, until Africa reaches where it should be. And so Africa is definitely going to be a part of the future. As a matter of fact, this is one of the reasons why I think the rest of the world will, even if the EU or Europe goes back to the arms of the United States of America, I think that the rest of the world, if they are wise and or smart, they will rethink how they have dealt with Africa so far, and how they will move along with Africa in the future. So yes, I agree with you that we as a people of the diaspora should always be thinking of uniting. And when we say unity, we mean not just as a Caribbean archipelago of islands, but as a Pan-African aspect.
Exactly. So what I'm saying to you now is that one of the reasons why Malcolm X was killed, because when he came back from Africa, he was talking about black people in the Western world which they refer to as the Republic of New Africa, because we're in the West, we're in the so-called New World. So what they're saying, based on the distinct culture in terms of our enslavement, we develop a particular culture in the different areas that we were. So that shape us now in the sense that, as Malcolm said, we have a common enemy. We have a common oppressor, a common exploiter, and a common discriminator. So what he was saying is that we know in the West that we have to unite here in the West and then unite with the brothers and sisters on the continent. You see, because as black people, we're in the most strategic position in the world. But one of the problems that we face is that our leadership doesn't see that.
Yes.
Even back in Marcus Garvey time. That's what Marcus Garvey was talking about. You know, when you're talking about going back to Africa, once Africa is liberated, and we in the West is liberated, and we found that unification amongst ourselves, you know, we will be such a powerful nation. Look at China today. Why you think China is so powerful? It's because of the Chinese Revolution back in 1949.
Yes.
And now they have industrialized and they make everything in the world. That's why they are so powerful. So that's what Marcus Garvey was talking about, you know, liberating Africa and making Africa an industrial base so that we don't have to depend on other people for our needs in terms of goods and services.
But Kalonji, I hear you and I agree with you, but again it comes back to, as you said, our leadership. Don't you think that the leaders throughout those 54 countries in Africa, that they have to adopt a mindset that is similar to the way we're thinking for us to reach or acquire that status in the future? And if you feel so, then why is it that it is taking so long and it is so slow? I understand neocolonialism and all that kind of stuff, but we've got minds of our own.
Yeah, we got minds of our own, but you see what I'm trying to show you now is your understanding of the situation. What is your worldview? Because you got to understand, okay, even come here locally, what I realize, I come to the conclusion that all of our politicians, all the political parties, right, all they're concerned about is making money.
Yeah.
You know, they're not concerned about the development of our people as a whole. They're just concerned about making money. You know, because if you understand the colonial structure here, right, our people and the political system that we inherited from England, right, the politicians then was trained in order to keep our people divided here. That's why you see they keep attacking each other like that. For instance, the situation with Nevis in terms of secession, right? It didn't start with us.
No.
But when I was growing up, I thought it started with us in terms, as a youth, the impression that I got is that Mr. Bradshaw didn't like Nevis people, and he was the one responsible for it.
Yeah, a lot of individuals felt that way, but if those of us who are aware of our history, and I knew this a long time ago, are aware of our history, we would realize that the plantocracy, because historically Nevis, and people might not believe it, but there was a time when Nevis was bigger in agriculture and export than St. Kitts.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And there was a plantocracy called the plantocracy over there, when eventually St. Kitts, the table was turned and St. Kitts became the bigger producer, the bigger agricultural representative. Then those over on Nevis felt disenfranchised and they wanted secession.
Yeah, but because the secession go back to 1887.
Yes,
now.
so a lot of people don't understand this secession thing didn't start with us as a black people. You're right.
And we're continuing it up to today.
Yes.
You see, because so the point I'm making is that the culture that was imposed on us, the colonial culture, right? We don't have a proper analysis of it because we were thrust into a system and we keep perpetuating it. So as time evolves, the situation just gets worse, so we just keep attacking one another.
But Kalanji,
Go ahead.
There is a saying, if you are brought up in a system and you are taught in a system, how does anyone expect you to act different than the system you're brought up in and taught in? I say that to say this. If our leaders are educated in Europe and the Americas, or highly influenced by such, motivated by such, how do we expect them to drift away from the actions of those who taught them?
That's the point, my brother. That is the point. But what I'm trying to show you now, okay, take somebody like Kwame Nkrumah. He had the same education, but what happened is that when he went to the United States, right, he see a different perspective.
Yes.
And the people who influence him. So what I'm saying to you is that when you think I know a lot of these things, I was trained in these things because I was part of the movement.
Yes.
So I have a different perspective. What you're seeing coming out with Mr. Trump, with him being belligerent and disrespectful to people, that's how they treat black people in America.
Yes, we're well aware.
And what is happening now is exposed to the world.
Yes, yes. But let's take it a little further, because I've always said that there was a time when I did a program called Sunday Conversation where I tried to show people aspect of history from the past, right? And I had reached a point where I was going to show the Caucasians, if they cared to listen, that everything that was done to the blacks, the so-called slave and Afro-American, Afro-Caribbean, Afro-African people, eventually was used against them. But they, because of the classism and colorism and racism and prejudice, have not been able to see it. But that is why in America, the United States of America today, the biggest faction that supports Donald Trump are the most impoverished, uneducated, and so forth, because they don't understand, they don't seem to realize that while they felt comfortable in their white skins, that the very same things that were used to downpress the black man was being used against them, until one day they woke up and they realized that the black man, who has always been downpressed and has always been fighting to get his or her head above that oppression, have always been struggling to rise up, and eventually they are slowly rising up. And now the Caucasian looks across and says, wow, those blacks are better off than us. They immigrated here. You understand, Kalanji?
I agree with what you're saying. But for instance, you see, history is very important because, like you said, the poor white people now who are backing Mr. Trump, because Trump messages that the problem that the United States have, right, is because of the immigrants and the black people.
Yes.
Right? Is the same thing happening in Germany with Hitler?
Yes.
It's the same basic thing, but you see, like I said, we people don't have the proper understanding of history.
Yeah, yes.
That's what, because Hitler used the Jews as a scapegoat for his Nazism.
Yes.
And so Trump is using the immigrants, because when you talk about immigrants as criminal, as long as you're black, you're a criminal. People don't understand that.
Well, to some extent, even though Hitler exploited the Jews and their position and their wealth, it did not come from fiction, you know. The Jews were in Germany and they were filthy rich, a lot of them, and the majority of the Germans were in the position that those who are following Trump today found themselves. And just like Trump, Hitler exploited that to his advantage.
Exactly.
Yes.
But you got to understand that the majority of Jews was not rich.
Well,
This is what I'm saying.
That is true, but that is what I'm saying. There were a few who were. This is like the present position in the world. The majority of people in the world are not rich, like filthy rich. The rich are a mere 1 or 2% of the world. So that is
exactly
that hasn't changed really over time. What happens is that people need to be aware of the facts, the factual situations of the world. That is what people are, as you have stated, are ignorant to.
Exactly, and what I'm saying to you now, come back home locally now. The problem that we face is that the politicians them are not educating our people. For instance, every time I hear the Prime Minister, he blaming Timothy for the situation. Right? I'm saying to you, all of these keep blaming each other. This present situation is not of our making. What is happening basically is that the capitalist system is in a crisis, and a serious crisis. Now, what I'm saying to you, take COVID. COVID is responsible for the sluggishness in the economy right now. Just like World War One, World War Two.
Yeah, that is. I'm glad you made that point, because just after that prior conversation that we had, I did say that the shocks of what is happening right now with the tariffs, you don't feel them at the moment. It is a prolonged thing. It happens after. So yes, you're right. We're still now feeling the effects of what COVID did to our economy.
Exactly.
Yes.
And as time goes on, it gets worse. So people are saying, well, when Unity was in power, we had money.
Yes.
But what happened? This is the after effect.
Yes.
They don't understand. If the government changed today, the situation ain't going to change.
Yes.
But what happens is that the politicians, them are not educating our people, because all they want is power.
But
you see what I'm saying?
Back to your point, the point you made prior in relation to our present leader having a tendency to blame Timothy Harris. I remember when Timothy Harris became the prime minister, he did very much the same. He kept blaming.
Exactly. He blamed Dougie.
Yeah, he kept blaming Dougie. And here is where I agree with you. Our leaders need to understand that people elected them to effect change. We don't want to hear you. We don't mind if when you got into the position of being the prime minister or whatever, that you on a few occasions said, okay, look, we find ourselves in this position because of prior bad mismanagement, whatever. But we do not want to hear you prolonging this thing into a year, 2 years, 3 years, going up to the next election, and you're still saying, he caused. No, we elected you, the people elected you to make a difference. And this is where I have a problem. We the people, you say, Kalanji, that the politicians are not educating the people. What responsibility do the people have of educating themselves? A lot of the things that you and I know about history, we did not learn them in school, Kalanji. We learned them after leaving school. What we had learned up to the point when we left school was enough to make us, to spark that interest in us, to make us say, I want to know more. I want to delve into that. So why is it that the masses of the people aren't motivated to do that? I mean, I kind of know the answer, and one of it is consumerism, and the way we're bombarded with buying this and spending that, and we're caught up in fashion and food, and everybody's obese, and everybody's into sexuality, and everybody's saying, I'm free, freedom, and we're imprisoning ourselves even in our own bodies. So my question to you, Kalanji, is why is it, and what onus is there on the people to educate themselves so that when the politicians keep doing this of saying, well, it is Timothy Harris or it is Denzel Douglas, the people say, enough already. Show us.
Brother, you said it so clearly. I can't even. I will add to that and say, as Marcus Garvey said, right? When everything else fails to organize the people, the conditions will. And the conditions are here. So the conditions are going to force them to change their ways.
Yes.
And I see it coming. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So what I'm trying to show you, I am confident that our people will reach to that stage that you talk about.
Yes.
Because, for instance, we talk about inflation before. Every time you go to the store, these prices are rising.
Yes.
And the tariffs that Mr. Trump is imposing on us going to cause that inflation to escalate.
Yeah.
So
yes.
I know that's why we are calling the movement for national unity. We are calling for a national consciousness because the main purpose that we need to achieve is the unification of our people.
Yes.
That is the most important weapon that we have at this present time.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So I know it will come. It's just a matter of time. Everything is a process.
Yes.
It doesn't happen overnight.
Yes.
Just right now, the impact of COVID now is so
prevalent.
So strenuous on our people that in time to come, that cohesiveness and that unity will come, my brother.
Okay.
I'm confident of it.
Okay. Take care.
Okay, give thanks. One love.
Yes. I'm going to take a bit of a commercial break, and I'll be right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Hey, have you heard about the water shortage in our area?
Yeah, it's pretty serious. I've been trying to conserve water as much as possible.
Me too. I've started taking shorter showers and turning off the faucet when I brush my teeth.
But that's great. Another way to save water is to fix any leaks in your house.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that. How much water can a leak waste?
A small leak can waste up to 20 gallons of water daily, which can really add up over time.
Wow, that's a lot. And have to check for any leaks in my house.
But another good tip is to only run your dishwasher and washing machine when they are full to save water and energy.
I'll keep that in mind. It's important that we all do our part to conserve water, especially during this shortage.
Absolutely. Every drop counts.
This message was brought to you by the St. Kitts Water Services Department. Learn more at water.gov.kn.
Ricardo, my hair is almost done. Could you pick me up? I got my nails done too, so walk with a little extra money?
I'm almost there. Forgot the extra money, but happy wife, happy life. Looks like the salon has first pay. QR code scanned, funds sent, paid.
For quick transfer with just an email, mobile number, or QR code, use First Pay from CIBC Caribbean. Visit CIBCCaribbean.com/ways to bank for more information.
Voices has a new time. Starting Friday, January 24, tune in from 10 to 12 on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for Voices right after Island Tea on Win FM. Money Matters with Dr. Terrence Martin moves to Monday afternoons from 1 to 2 p.m. Inside the News on Saturday mornings, now 10 to 12 noon. Tune in to Win FM 98.9. Log on to winmediaskn.com and our YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch pages. And let's go. Keep up with the news on our website and by following our Win Media SKN channel on WhatsApp. Message your comments or call Win FM at 466-0989, 662-0989, or call our U.S. numbers from anywhere, 718-285-6984, 305-921-4619, and call our sales office at 466-9586. Voices, now 10 to 12 a.m. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Money Matters, 1 to 2 p.m. Monday afternoon. And Inside the News, Saturdays, 10 to 12 noon on Win FM 98.9.
We're different. We're 98.
The importance of co-parenting. Every child has the right to bond with the parents that gave them life. Children are happiest when they can freely communicate and enjoy the time, talents, and lessons that each parent brings to the relationship.
We make co-parenting difficult when we focus on differences rather than what is in the best interest of our children. Parents, your relationship with each other should never affect the relationship you have with your child. Celebrate your children together. They deserve your best. A message brought to you by the Department of Probation and Child Protection Services. Contact us at 467-1311 or 662-6833 for more information.
St. Kitts and Nevis, it's time to celebrate! We're raising our glasses and saying cheers to 20 years as your trusted telecommunications provider. And because we love our amazing customers, we're giving you the chance to win. Every week, we've got exciting prizes just for you. And that's not all. Step into a cash vault for a shot at $2,000 in cash. To qualify, switch to Digicel, activate a 3-day plan or higher, pay your bill in full, sign up for postpaid or a new Digicel Plus internet package. Stay connected, keep enjoying the best service, and get ready to win. 20 years strong, and we're just getting started. Visit a Digicel retail store today.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea only on Win Media 98.9.
And a pleasant good day to you and yours. The time is approximately 9:36, and I have with me a lovely lady, a representative of Digicel. We just heard the ad there, and I would let her introduce herself to you presently.
A pleasant good morning to all of our listeners. Happy Wednesday. I'm Ashmer, the marketing executive of Digicel. Of course, here to tell you what's exciting that's happening at Digicel.
Okay, so what's exciting and what's happening at Digicel?
Right. So I was here last week telling you that we have an exciting promotion. Our anniversary is all the way in December. However, we've started a year-long promotion celebrating Digicel and our long-standing loyal customers as your trusted telecommunications provider. So during this promotion, we're giving customers the opportunity to win weekly prizes in our Lucky Dip at our retail stores across St. Kitts and Nevis, as well as a chance to catch your share of $2,000 cash. At the end of the month, we will have selected 2 lucky customers who would have activated a plan, paid their bill, signed up to postpaid, switched to Digicel, or sign up to Digicel Plus services in Nevis for your chance to be one of those 2 lucky winners to catch your share of $2,000 cash in the cash vault.
And can you enlighten us as to what are some of the prices that you would that individuals can win?
Sure. So if you perform a transaction in store on there are specific days that we send out a text message to let you know what time is prime hour. If you come to the retail store between that time and you do any transaction at the counter, whether you purchase a handset, activate a plan, or any transaction, you get the opportunity to dip and win instant prizes. Some of the prizes available are gas vouchers, grocery vouchers, KFC vouchers, Chop Shop vouchers, Digicel branded merchandise, National Bank gift cards are some of the prizes that you will have the opportunity to dip and win in our Lucky Dip activations during retail on specific days and specific prime hours.
Okay, how long has Digicel been in effect in our region? I know as far back as we can remember. We know
2005 to be exact. So this year we're celebrating 20 years in the Federation. So
Okay.
that's a milestone for us. We've had so many changes. We've had the opportunity to change so many lives. During that period, giving back to the community, celebrating our long-standing staff, celebrating our long-standing loyal customers, and it's just part of an excitement to be here to see what we've done over these years. Of course, one thing remains constant: that spirit of Digicel, that passion that keeps us connected.
In speaking of giving back, I remember some years ago, I don't know if Digicel is still involved, incorporated in it, because I'm so busy of late. But I know there was a time whenever you saw the West Indies cricket and so forth, we saw Digicel paraphernalia all over the place.
Right.
Is Digicel still involved to that extent?
We are still involved. I wouldn't say to that extent. I think Republic Bank now is the title sponsor, but
Okay.
Digicel is still a sponsor of cricket,
Yes.
CPL. So, of course, you'll see our paraphernalia, you'll see the team on the ground, different activations, rewarding customers. So, yes, we're still a part. Not as big as we used to, but we are still a part of that.
Okay. I hope that in the future we can see more of Digicel, getting back into cricket.
Of course.
Cricket holds a very strong part in our hearts. So
It does.
So whenever we see cricket and we see an association aligned with it, then our hearts also, lean towards that association.
Of course.
Yes. So, speaking of giving back, 20 years here, could you give us one or two examples of ways in which you have given back to our society, the St. Kitts Nevis community, in sports, in education, in whatever aspect?
That's quite an extensive list. We continue to give back, even if they're not as in big ways. We continue to support the local communities, local school initiative, continue to sponsor events such as music festival, carnival, and be a vital part. Our focus recently have been assisting schools, so we gravitate towards school sponsorship and donations for their sports day, different activities within the school, which has been a focus for us. I like to say we give back in a big way as well during, exciting Christmas promotions. We've changed the lives, I would say, of a lot of customers. We've given away land. We've given away customers year of free service where they have to pay no water, no electricity, no groceries for 1 year. We give back in a big way, cash donations. So I would say, apart from, the CSR, we have given back to our customers for being loyal, or if you're not with us and you're just coming over, you have the opportunity to be rewarded. We like to say simply more value with our data plans, and of course we add that reward element that we give back to our customers just for being with the Digicel family.
Yeah, as you spoke, I can well remember when there was that promotion going for what it was, free electricity.
Yes, so two lucky customers would have been, like we say, set for life.
Yeah.
We've taken care of their electricity bill, their water bill. If they're postpaid or internet with us, we would have taken care of that. And groceries for 1 year. Those customers were very lucky and they were very excited. Customers always feel that it's a prank when we're calling them to tell them that they've won, but it wasn't.
Yeah,
so congratulations to these lucky winners. The year before, we've given away 7,000 square feet of land to one lucky winner in Dewar's Estate. These are our prizes that I would say would set a customer,
Most definitely.
Yes.
Those are not ordinary prizes.
They're
those
not.
are prizes of a lifetime.
Exactly.
I mean, imagine winning free electricity for a year. Wow.
That's extra money that you have to save to take a trip, to do something, very different that you haven't done when you have those bills taken care of.
And imagine winning land.
Imagine winning.
Wow.
That
You
customer,
understand?
I remember, was extremely excited. She was like, are you kidding? I said, no, you're the winner. And she said, did I win land? I said, yes. And she said, I already have land. I said, well, guess what? You have another piece of land to give to your child.
That's like dreaming and having a fantastic dream, waking up and seeing you're surrounded by the aspects of that dream,
Yes.
and you pinch yourself 100 times and you say, no, this is reality. And then someone says, yes, it is.
That's exactly what it felt like. And just last month in March, we had another exciting promotion where one lucky customer, I want to say congratulations to Mr. Moses, who would have won himself a trip to Royalton, all-inclusive 3-night stay at Royalton Cheek Antigua.
Yes.
And he also got flights compliments into Caribbean for 2 persons. So that was a lucky prize. He's a teacher, and I think it was very well deserved. So congratulations again to Mr. Moses, and I'm just waiting to see who our 2 lucky customers who will win this month to catch their share of $2,000 cash in the cash vault.
Well, there's a saying, good things follow those deserving of it. And
That's
I think
right.
that as a teacher, yes.
Yes.
We always hear teachers don't get enough
That's very true.
praises and that kind of stuff. So, yes, looking at the time that Digicel has been in existence and looking ahead, what do you see in the future in terms of Digicel and relating to its customer? We've seen some great things play out. Can we look forward to the same or maybe even more exciting things?
I would like to say more exciting things. We don't normally spill what our upcoming promotions are or what we're going to give away. We like customers to anticipate that excitement, but I can guarantee that with advanced technology and all of what's going on, of course, we can look forward to see bigger things with Digicel this year.
Most definitely. And in terms of the range of the age range from adolescent to adulthood, how would you say Digicel has influenced our progression within the St. Kitts and Nevis sphere? Like, can a young person from a certain point in their life, certain age in their life, and to another age in their life, let's say coming from elementary and going to tertiary education, how do you see Digicel affecting the life of that young person?
Right. So a part of what we're implementing is an internship program.
Yes.
So children who would like to work in telecommunications get that experience. We're bringing them on board to work in different departments, get an understanding of what we do at Digicel, how fully committed we are to ensuring that our customers stay connected. So that's part of the element that we're implementing. Also going into the schools, being part of the Nevis Youth Expo, where we're present, educating children who are not sure what exactly they'd like to do or be in the future, telling them about the telecommunication industry, what we do, and see if that's something they would like to take up as part of, a career.
Yes.
So
yes.
we continue to be a part of those initiatives, expanding the mind of the youths who would like to be in the telecommunications industry.
Yeah, so then one can say that Digicel is not only involved in our past,
Yes.
but has positive projections for the future.
Yes, we do, definitely.
Okay, let's take a bit of a break and we'll be right back.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
St. Kitts and Nevis, it's time to celebrate! We're raising our glasses and saying cheers to 20 years as your trusted telecommunications provider. And because we love our amazing customers, we're giving you the chance to win. Every week, we've got exciting prizes just for you. And that's not all. Step into a cash vault for a shot at $2,000 in cash. To qualify, switch to Digicel, activate a 3-day plan or higher, pay your bill in full, sign up for postpaid or a new Digicel Plus internet package. Stay connected, keep enjoying the best service, and get ready to win. 20 years strong, and we're just getting started. Visit a Digicel retail store today.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea only on Win Media 98.9.
And we're back. The time is 9:49, and we have the lovely lady keeping our company here. Could you again tell us your name?
My name is Ashma, representing Digicel this morning.
Yes, and I want you now to give me a more detailed description of why you're here, in terms of a little synopsis history of the past, the present, and the future, the relevance of your being here in our studios presently.
So, of course, I want customers to know what's going on at Digicel. So that's the main reason why I'm here, telling you about what's upcoming, what you can look forward to, and why you need to be a part of the Digicel family. We're celebrating the full 20 years as being your trustworthy telecommunication provider, and we have a full year of excitement awaiting you. Of course, I will be here to give you more information as we go to every month to let you know what you have the chance to win and what more value you can get with our data plans.
Okay, so again, give us recap some of the prizes that can be won over an extended period.
So, of course, starting this month, customers will have the opportunity, two lucky customers, I would say, across St. Kitts and Nevis, will have the opportunity to win their share of $2,000 in the cash vault. I know a lot of you have seen the cash vault activations and think how easy it is, but when you do get in there, and you have money flying all over the place, it is not as easy as you see. But of course, we have two lucky customers who are going to have that opportunity. And every week across St. Kitts and Nevis, we're giving customers the opportunity to win instant prizes by performing transactions in store, whether you purchase a handset, activate a plan, pay your bill. You have a chance to dip to win grocery vouchers, gas vouchers, National Bank gift cards, like I said, prizes that are relevant to your everyday use, KFC vouchers, spa vouchers where you can relax. So all of those, you have the opportunity to win. And we're also giving to our customers who are vendors, vendor umbrellas. So if you are a vendor and you are looking for a vendor umbrella, you can visit the retail store and we will take your information, and of course, we'll provide you with a vendor umbrella for your stall.
Okay. You mentioned cash something. What do you call it?
Cash vault.
Cash vault.
Yes, it's a cash vault.
I've heard a few instances of that, and that is a big hit.
It is.
Everyone loves.
Everyone wants to go in,
cash.
And they have. Sometimes it's so funny. Customers have all the ways they're gonna catch your cash. But I've tried it, and when you go into that cash vault and you have the air blowing all of that cash, it is not as easy as you look, trying to grab them and keep them from flying away from your hands. So if you look at our social media pages, you could find some tricks as to how you're going to catch that cash. And of course, you're briefed before you enter in the cash vault by me. So I might be able to tell you a few little tricks as to how it's easier for you to catch that cash.
And one of the reasons it's a hit, it is a hit not only because you can get the cash, but what Digicel has done is also a hit because some of the prizes that I hear people win, I've heard a woman get a television, flat screen television.
Of course.
I've heard of I can't remember some of the prizes, but really the kind of prizes that saves you a lot in terms of going to purchase those stuff. So I guess a lot of thought went into planning these things and making them making people feel pleased at the end.
Yes, to win a particular prize, of course.
Because sometimes, people have options to win things, and then you hear them complaining, "Oh, this is what I got."
Yes.
I'm a customer for X amount of years.
Right.
But I've never heard people complaining in terms of the prices there. Even me sometimes listening, and when I hear the enthusiasm, it makes me laugh or smile.
That's right.
So I must commend Digicel for such a big hit.
Right.
So what I want you to do now is to give me your parting words in terms of where Digicel is at and where Digicel is intending to go.
Right. I believe Digicel has come a very long way in St. Kitts and Nevis. A lot has changed, time has changed. We continue to be innovative, creative with our ideas, giving back to our customers. And I like to say that just one thing that remains constant with Digicel is the spirit of Digicel, our passion to give back, our passion for our staff, our dedication and commitment to giving back to our staff, our long-standing customers. And of course, if you're not a Digicel customer, it is, I would say, the right opportunity for you to come on over to the Digicel family for your chance to just get more, simply more value, more rewards, and that great customer service. If you have any concerns, you could visit any of our retail stores and get that assistance that you need.
Yeah, there's something that crossed my mind. It seemed as if though a lot of the younger folks join up with Digicel. I don't know why. I'm an old man, you know what I'm saying? But whenever I speak to one of my sons or whatever, they are sons or daughter, they seem to be linked with Digicel. Why do you think that is?
I would say that one thing that we do is try to provide relatable content on social media. We know that the younger folks are into TikTok. We're very creative with our TikTok content, make it relatable to them on our social media pages. I would say that's one, because everybody's on TikTok apparently. So we provide relatable content that they can, that's simple for them to relate to, that provides information on what we're offering, whether it's a handset or any offer. So I would say that's one. And of course, our plans are they're suitable for younger persons. They provide them with that data. We know they like more data because they're always on those social channels. So those plans provide them with sufficient data to keep them connected.
Okay. So thank you for having graced our studios. And as you've said, you're not going to be a stranger here.
Right.
We'll see you occasionally, keeping us abreast with what is happening in relation to Digicel.
No problem.
So
I will
thank you for
You're welcome.
coming here, and do have a great day.
You as well. Thank you.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
St. Kitts and Nevis, it's time to celebrate! We're raising our glasses and saying cheers to 20 years as your trusted telecommunications provider. And because we love our amazing customers, we're giving you the chance to win. Every week, we've got exciting prizes just for you. And that's not all. Step into a cash vault for a shot at $2,000 in cash. To qualify, switch to Digicel, activate a 3-day plan or higher, pay your bill in full, sign up for postpaid or a new Digicel Plus internet package. Stay connected, keep enjoying the best service, and get ready to win. 20 years strong, and we're just getting started. Visit a Digicel retail store today.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea, only on Win Media 98.9.
And we're back. And another interesting bit of an interview, and there with Digicel. Digicel celebrating and at the same time giving back to our community in very, very, very good ways. And I'm just about at the end of my stint here on Island Tea for today. It has been rather, went along quite well. Had some good interactions, good discussions, relevant discussions, I might say. And we're looking forward to tomorrow when I'm back with you, and hopefully the lovely Hortensia will also be here keeping our company. I thought I had a call there, but I apparently was a bit too late on pressing the button. Caller, do feel free to call again. and I will indulge you just before I wrap up here on Island Tea for today. Okay, so like I was saying, yeah, we had a very, very good discussion. Number of topics, mainly the issue of tariffs and its repercussions not only in the region but around the globe. He is hoping that things turn out better than we see it playing out, hoping for better as opposed to worse. And he is hoping that somehow, somewhere along the way, the present leader of the United States of America will have a change of heart, even though it seems rather impossible. Then again, there's nothing is impossible. Let's hope that there's some kind of redress to the trend he seems to be on presently, and that he would take steps that would project better for the future as opposed to this present picture of doom and gloom. Hello? Hello, caller?
Good morning.
Yes, good day.
Yeah, I've heard you use the word neo-colonialism.
Yes.
Fleeting. I am wondering if we really fully understand that it simply means indirect control of the colonies.
Yes.
So, when the term was coined in, I think it was 1957 in France,
Yes.
it was really a scheme to keep the colonies subjugated by manipulating or dominating
Yes.
economies, financial, cultural, using whatever pressure they can. Even when America started after World War II and going around giving all the colonies money and all that, it wasn't for the benefit of the people. All of it was to control the colonies, keep us working, producing labor, producing raw material, control free trade. Actually, it was to prevent developing countries by further, let me get it right, to prevent developing countries from growing. This was done by all the former colonial masters.
Yes.
In essence, I don't know if we're ever any further from direct colonialism back then as we are now.
Yes.
I'm going to say something else. Y'all are talking about the unification
Yes.
of black people. That can't happen. It will never happen either. We are not black people. You talk about Germans, you talk about every other race of people. But we are referred to in a color that has the most negative connotations in the world. And I say, when we act black, we are called bad or criminals. We are not a color. We are Africans. We are people with a rich heritage. And when we understand that and start using the term that bonds us together, our bloodline, African people, then we will begin to unite. The word black, I don't know who black people is. Black is color. You like my pants and shirt? I am a seed. I belong to a race of people. We are Africans. You said Pan-African, American African. You say all kinds. But you never said in whole African people. That is the binding word.
And
the
I did.
dividing word
caller,
is the word
caller,
black.
caller, I did say, because I would never speak and not incorporate Africa. So I did say, perhaps you didn't hear me, I said African people, right? But let's get back to the semantics of words. And I sometimes cringe when I hear people get caught up in semantics and lose the essence of moving forward. I think that we as a people, whether you want to refer to us as black people, African people, whatever, brown people, I think that we get caught to, I came from the U.S. Virgin Islands as a young man, and they use the term kids. And when I came here, people, when I say kids, my kids, people say, oh, they are not goats and this and that. And I think that we as a people need to move away from these phrases that we put so much emphasis on and lose the whole picture of moving forward. I hear what you're saying, but then again, I am proud to be a black person. Whereas you say that black is a color of a pants or a shirt, maybe I have been designated as a black person. And if I have been designated as a black person and I look and I see myself as a brown person, referred to as a black person, I accept myself as a black person. I am proud.
Melanin people.
I am
shades. We are shades. If you check us as African people, we are not one must say black, brown, white, pink, purple. We are diverse. When you put us in one context, actually, we were called niggers and Negroes. It came to black. All the terms are discriminatory. They are not terms to build a people and keep, we say the white race.
Caller.
No matter where you born, we call him Chinaman.
Caller. I have seen you. I know you. I'm sure you know me. I respect you. I might not agree with a lot of things that you say, and likewise, I'm sure you may not agree with some things I say. But I respect you as an individual. And I think that you are enlightened enough to understand what I'm saying when I say that we need not to get bogged down on all these things about a color of this. Look, you see that word you use, nigger? A lot of black people are so afraid of that word. Even here on Win FM some years ago, it was a bit of a problem. Well, let me tell you how I feel about the word nigger. Because I had to learn to assimilate and accept certain things and certain connotations that were imposed upon me that I did not ask for, and use them in a way that made me survive. Okay? So here's me. When I realized that people were using the term, and a lot of black people even today are using the term nigger, I assessed what nigger meant to me. And here's my analysis. If you see me as a nigger, you do not see me, I hope you do not see me as a former nigger who you saw in the field, who you could beat and whip and kick and denigrate. See me as a present-day nigger who will fight you to the end. The nigger who will take up arms and ensure his survival. I am not the passive nigger that you knew before. I am an aggressive, confident nigger of today. The nigger that when you see me, you fear me. You think twice as to whether you will confront me. So, mister, what I'm saying is I take the phrases that people impose upon me and I turn them to my advantage. You will not call me a nigger today and I cringe and I say, oh, no, don't call me a nigger. Oh, no. No, call me whatever you will. But the nigger you...
It's a Spanish man. A Spanish man will not use the word black. What will he call you? El Negro. I am saying words got meaning. What is the meaning? What is the difference it means black. I am saying we have not gotten out of that mental state. It is we were not called that because of because of the reason that we were brought here. We were brought here as Africans.
Caller, I hear you. Caller,
yes.
Caller, I hear you. Caller, do not mistake I understand you. I hear you. But I am saying that we need to stop getting bogged down and carrying on the rhetoric of names and connotations. I am saying whatever, some people might not like the word nigger. Okay, so you don't like it, don't use it.
It's not a good word.
Okay, but I am saying I am the kind of person, you can call me whatever you wish. Whatever you call me.
But you are not really feeling what I'm saying. I am saying, people say that, don't say, call the child bad. Don't call the child bad. Don't tell the child, you're bad, you're bad. No. Because if you continue to tell the child is bad, the child probably will grow up with the potential of being bad because it's all he's ever heard.
That is what I said to you, caller.
I said all you ever hear is the word of the master. If all you ever hear is a reflection of oppression, how can we then escape the clutches when we decide rather to be addressed by a color rather than by the greatness of our heritage, rather than who we are? Teach the children in school.
Caller.
Just a minute. One moment. If we teach the children in school about their African heritage rather than black history, which is colonial history, then we will have different people. We will have people who would grow up proud when they know they are children of kings and queens, emperors. We are gods and goddesses, not black people, which is everything bad. It is insulting. It is degrading.
Look.
And we as a people continue down that lane. Is like we are looking for redemption from who? From the people who put us in this situation. What's that meaning?
Caller, I'm going to have to take a break. Not that I wish to run you, but we have some others who are set for another program. Perhaps here's what you can do. On another time when I'm here and I don't have a caller, you can call back and we continue this conversation. But I will say this. I am saying our foreparents had every stigma placed upon them, every name, everything. I mean, we are facing nothing presently in comparison to what our foreparents had to go through, okay? And they survived. I am saying to you, I hear you, I understand you, but we need to not, and you who are, I admire as a very enlightened person, do not get yourself bogged down in saying, so when I see a black car, is the black car a bad car? No, I am saying that yes, I hear you, but I am saying that we as a people have got to reach a point where we look at different scenarios, look in the mirror, see ourselves, and come up to a conclusion as to who we see ourselves as being. So if someone wants...
Stop using negative terminologies to describe ourselves.
So if
that's
someone...
exactly what I am saying.
I hear you. I hear you, but I am saying you're taking it too far when you're saying.
We want to align with Africa. Why we say black people? Why don't we address the continent?
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Sorry, let me apologize to the caller, but I already have my guest in here. It may have seemed kind of rude that I had to, but I could not just allow him to go on. Caller, I apologize. I'm going to take a bit of a commercial break, and I will be back. And as caller, like I said, you can always involve me in a conversation in the future. Okay, so again, I apologize for having to abruptly cut you because you were passionate, so as but I'll be right back.
You found the sound.